Okay, in this video I just wanted to show you guys how I deploy and test Cloudian Hyperstore in my lab at home, and I use vCenter, vSphere with 3 ESX hosts. So let's just let me get this started, and you can see, oops, let me just do it this way. Okay. So what I do is I have a script that's basically a wrapper to call Terraform, and I limited the options to 2 data centers with any number of nodes between 1 and 6. So here I'm going to create Hyperstore 8 nodes, 6 of them in data center 1 and 6 of them in data center 2, because I'm going to be testing something that requires replicated erasure coding. Okay. And here we'll see 12 templates, 12 VMs with these names: data center 1, node 0, 1, 2, 3. Don't worry, 4 will come there. It's just I think it just queued basically, and then the other nodes as well. So you're probably going to ask, this is probably going to take like 10 minutes. So what I'll do is I will go over very quickly how this is done. So first things first, my lab, I basically figured I could only run like 12 of these, 6 and 6. So what I did was, and the most I would ever use probably is 2 data centers. So that's how the script is wrote. And here we have the names. So the names, just so you know, the DNS record is already there. So the DNS records are already predefined. And you can see the IP address scheme essentially is 70, 71, 72, etc., etc. And for DC2, it's going to be 80, right? Try to make it as easy as possible. So the VMs here will have these addresses. So this will be 70, 71, 72, 73, 75, 80, 81, 82, 83, 85. And don't worry, 4 will come there. And what the script does, here, I'll just show it to you. I know that it's not easy to read because my resolution is really high and I'm downscaling this video, but if you have any questions, I could just message me. But essentially, what the script does, it just asks for the user input, which you saw, like plan, apply, destroy. And it asks you to enter in a number 1 through 6 for the data center 1, data center 2, 0 through 6. And then it executes Terraform with the count variable, how many machines. So you enter in 3, it makes 3. You enter in 6, it makes 6. And it's pretty self-explanatory. But what it does is the template itself actually comes from VMware, right? So the VMware template is this, Hyperstore 8 template that I made. The template itself contains the binary. This way I didn't have to transfer it, and a license file, a temp key. So I basically have everything I need to install it right off the bat. I could have incorporated more completeness and automation in the template and deploying it, but I chose not to because I still wanted to do the manual install such that I wouldn't forget. Right? You do it 1,000 times, it's pretty hard to forget. And it translates into installing the real appliance just as easily. So that's why. I guess we could kind of go over some of the code while we're waiting, I guess. So you see I had the DNS names already set. And if you're wondering how it works, when I said it's like you choose 3, it clones it 3 times, and 5, it clones it 5 times. If you're curious how this works, it's actually kind of easy-ish. and say it's the easiest. But here, that count variable, it actually is this number, this field right here, count index. And let me open up another file real quick. It's TFRs. So what I want to show you here is VM name is DC1 node, and then notice there's no 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the input that you enter. So you enter in, 6. It starts with a count of 0, and then it appends the number to the end of the name. So that's how I did it. And you can see I did the same thing for the IP addresses as well. So in the script, if I had said 3, it's just going to add 3 to the end of this. For it's going to make 3 templates, but it's going to go start at 0 and say 1, 2, 3. I configured the DNS already, the domain suffix search order in the name. Remember, these are the VM settings, right? It has nothing to do with VM. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the Cloudian configuration. And in this file, the TFRs, you could see the variable answers for all of them. So here you can see I specified EFI or BIOS. So if I'm deploying Hyperstore 7, I can say BIOS. If it's Hyperstore 8, then I just say EFI. And let's see. Yeah, nothing else really to note here, I don't think. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Still making these. It took about 10 minutes, or last time I did this, so it should be around 10 or 11. Let's see, what else would you want to know? These are the two main files, main.tf and TFRs. The variables TF is, I'll just show you, it is just a dictionary of the variables in their data types. So it's like server is string, username is string, password string. I did make some notes in my own code though, so that I would remember that VM hostname is the value of the VM hostname prefix. So that's the DC1, DC2 node blah. So if I look at VM hostname, then it's going to be like VM hostname. So you see it's DC1. If you're wondering why it's like 1 and 3 and there's a 2, my original intent was to have it this way, but I basically don't use template 2 right now because I don't need to. So as you can see, I can basically create any kind of scenario if it requires like multiple data centers, 2 nodes, 3 nodes. Like it's really easy to test certain functions, like whether it's RF or EC or replicated EC. I could even do distributed EC, right? I have 12 nodes. I just install it the way I want for that. So almost done here. What we'll do while we're waiting is I need to clear my known host file because I'm making these machines. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, data center 1. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, data center 2. Okay. Should be completing kind of soon. We're just waiting for the machines to get their IPs and all that. I do have in the code a front end and back end interface, so let's just see what it looks like in the code first. So here it's var IP4 address 2 with count, and it's this one. So here you can see I have a backend interface. So this would be the public interface. Oops, sorry, this one. public interface, and then backend interface. You'll see it when the code completes anyway. Almost there. Let's see how we're doing. Click over here. Not quite yet. Oh, and the template, of course, already has VMware tools installed. So here's one of them. See, it has the 2 addresses, and then 71, 72, 73. Oh, not up yet. 75, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. I guess we're just waiting on the one box to come up. Let's see if it's booting. Kind of? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's booting. I think when this one completes booting, then we'll be good to go. Okay, yeah. All right, that should be everybody, right? That one, yeah. Yep. I think Terraform just needs to detect that that's up. Let's say that. Let's see, was there anything else in the code we wanted to look at that's important? Oh, as a side note, right, I can show you the code. Like, it doesn't contain the authorization string for my VMware, so you don't get to see my username or password, really. But, yeah, so that's the cool part. And if you're wondering how that works, like, I use a secrets manager that just allows me to inject the username and password remotely, so I don't ever have to store it in the code. So I can show the code pretty easily. I actually do the same thing in Cloudflare. In Cloudflare, I can show you at the very top. Same kind of code, actually. But here, the API token is just a variable that's injected on run. Okay, so we're done here. The 12 nodes were added. So let's go ahead and install it. So remember, let me just show you real quick. So on each of the 12 nodes, I'll have to configure the host name, format the disks, do the time zone. And you have to do that 12 times. So it's pretty easy to mess up. So what I did was, I could have done that, because the configuration is the same, right? It's a template that's multiplied 12 times. But again, I chose not to because you'd have to remember to do it, right? If you were doing the real thing. So you don't want to be too lazy where you forget stuff. Too much automation in this case is not great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open 6 terminals, and I'll just do this one data center at a time. Open 6 terminals, use broadcast mode, DC1 node, and then I will just do this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Broadcast mode back on. Okay. Okay, and type in the password. Okay, and what I'll do is type in clear and then host name. Okay, from the top left, node 0, node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4, node 5. Okay, so we're doing good. And so if I do ls here, you can see I have the Cloudian binaries and a license file already. So I saved myself some work, but not all of it. And then you can go into the tools directory and then run system setup. And here I will choose option 1. It's a good idea to wait for, all the terminals to return. This way you're not broadcasting when you shouldn't be. And then I'm going to set the domain name. Okay. And that, so you see I have the front end, back end. We can see the IPs real quick, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. Okay. And then we're going to change the time zone configuration settings. Okay. I've done this a few times, so I kind of memorized the time zone thing. Okay. Oh, I didn't wait on that one. Oops. Let me just catch this guy up. Okay. Okay, and we'll check through this. I have to go slower. Okay. And we'll configure the disks. So before I forget to mention it later, I already have the Cloudian Hyperstore endpoints already defined in DNS. So I have the CMC, I have the IAM and S3 already done. So so basically, I can just recycle the same number of nodes in any configuration that I need for testing. If I need 12 nodes in a single DC, 12 nodes, or 6 and 6, or whatever I want, really. Okay. So we are just waiting on the format to complete on these 6 nodes. Should be data center 1. Okay. Okay, we are good here. And we are done here. Okay. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to hit up and we're just going to change from data center 1 to data center 2. And do the same thing. I could have done all 12 at once, but then you couldn't see anything. So, better just to not do that. Okay. So we'll do hostname again, make sure. DC2, node 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll just go to the tools and do the same thing on these 6 nodes. Again, I could have saved the template that already had the stuff done, but can't make it too easy. Otherwise, you'll forget. You'll get used to too many luxuries. Okay. But I did grow tired of just typing in all the IP addresses over and over and over, so that's pretty much what drove this. Okay. Do the time zone. Okay, and the disks. So as you would imagine, building 12 nodes by hand in VMware, even if you had the template, it would be kind of a pain, because the way you would do it is you would say clone from template and then customize the config and just type in the IP address to host name over and DNS like 1,000 times over. And you have to do it one at a time, which means there's like a greater chance of making a typo. But when you're doing 6 nodes or 12 nodes at a time when you broadcast, then it's, it minimizes your chances of mistakes. The terminal broadcaster, you could use, you don't have to use this one, you could use MOBA Xterm also, it's pretty popular. Okay, we're almost done with the second data center. Okay. Okay, looks like we done. Okay. And we are done here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the node that we want to install as the config controller, which is DC1 node 0. Okay, and then I already have the binary, and I already marked it executable, so I'm just going to go Cloudian Hyperstore. I'm going to extract the binary. You need the license key, so I use the trial license key. And if I need to update this, all I do is I just clone the template into a machine, make the appropriate changes, like for example, updating the temporary key and then cloning the VM back into the template. Whether that's the best way to do that or not, I have no earthly idea. But you don't have to do it that often, so it's like no biggie. And you'll note here that I'm not broadcasting. It's just I'm on just DC1 node 0. Well, hopefully this goes faster. I guess I don't need this terminal anymore. Oh, whoops. Uh-oh. That's not good. I didn't know that that would do that. Checking to see if killing that terminal killed the process. It looks like it did. Okay, so I just have to start it over. While we're waiting for that, might as well just show you that I already have. Oop, ping's not going to work. I just wanted to show you that I already have DNS entries for certain things. It's like CMC, S3, IAM, etc. Okay. Let's see if anything's going on here. Oh, okay. It's going. I'm just not patient. Or my system is slow. Uptime, load average is pretty high. 1. So I think one thing that the script doesn't do, but you depend on VMware to do it, is to balance these on the actual ESX hosts. I don't have DRS enabled, so kind of just like luck of the draw where the machines end up. So this is on 51, 52, 52, 53, 51, 53. Oh, I could just look this way. This one has these nodes. This one has these nodes. This one has these nodes. So obviously the one that's where DC1 node 0 is the busiest has 5 active machines. Okay. Oops. Weird. It doesn't show up here. Oh, it's right here. Okay, it's still going. Okay, so finally this got done. So we have now extracting the binary with the license gives you the staging directory. So let's go to the staging directory. And the first thing you need to do is create the survey file. And you do that by running system setup in the staging directory. We're going to choose option 4 for setup cluster topology. And we're going to create a new topology file for object nodes. Now so remember, we have 12 nodes, and we can configure it any way which we choose. We can say 1 node, 3 nodes, 2 nodes, 2 data centers, 3 data centers, 4 data centers, whatever. So here I'll just use my domain name. It's already set. Region, I'll just say region 1. It's fine. Data center name for DC1 will be DC-1. It's fine with me. It's in this region. And the rack is, I'll just take the default rack name of rack-1. The first node, since I'm on the node, it already knows the node name, DC1 node 0. The data center, it's in the default data center, DC1. The IP address, it already texts it because I'm on the box. Internal interface, we will define this. It's ENS224. It's the same on all my virtual boxes, right? They're all the same template, essentially. Would you like to add another node? So I'm going to say yes. And basically, I can just hit enter here because it's incremental. So that's the nice part. If your address scheme is incremental, then you could just hit enter. And here you can see I'm doing up to node 5. And here I'm going to type in DC2 node 0 because now I'm starting the second data center. And the data center, I'll just make it DC-2. This way the naming is the same, basically. Oh. Enter invalid data. It must be one of DC. What? Did I mess this up? Adding data center. Oh, I think I have to say no here. Oh, interesting. Okay, I know what to do. Okay. No. Wait, no, I don't. Edit the topology. What did we do here? Edit. Oh, remove node. DC2 node 0. And then we're going to add data center. Okay, this is kind of new to me. DC-2, same region. Rack. I guess we'll call it rack 2. Why not? And it's DC2 node 0. Interesting, the address is not right here. Huh. 192.168.0.80 is that address. Let me just double check. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. Okay, at least it does it right now. $383, 4, 5. No. And then we'll return to the reduce menu. So let's see what it looks like. Obviously, I think now I should check it. We choose option D, show topology entries. So here I have one region, one domain name, 2 data centers, 1 region, 2 racks. So these 5 are here, and these 5 are here. Okay, looks right to me. Oh, I should probably save topology. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we are going to run Cloudian install. But since we're running in the lab, we have to run with this switch. It's force dash warnings, because it's gonna, if we do a check, it's gonna detect that I don't meet the requirements, because these are virtual machines. Okay. So the first thing, as best practice, you're gonna run the pre-installation checks, and then we're gonna enter in password, copies the keys to all the nodes, and it knows this because it detects the survey file, right? The survey file defines the nodes that it needs to check. Well, hopefully this works. Probably should have tested this. No, something maybe not right. Awesome. What is going on here? It's a good one. I'm curious what's going on. Running through the pre. Oh, okay. So it is going. Just takes a little while. So here it's doing all the checks, and if you didn't run with the force warnings, it'll actually error out right here. It'll just say, hey, you don't meet the requirements. So apparently the minimum that we would like is 16 gigs, and I scoped the machines for 12. Hey, it's all I can afford unless somebody wants to give me a raise. The good news is that, the video might be kind of boring, but at least I'll know how long it takes for me to do this on average now, because it's been like half an hour or so. Thanks for hanging out. After I enter in the last parts, I'll end the video. Okay, so we got our favorite thing, errors 0. That means we can install, okay? And so we will. So from this point, you really only have to answer like 6 questions, and I'll talk about, actually 7. And I do want to make a note about one of them when it comes up. I guess my system runs really slow because I'm running like all these machines. As you would imagine, no, I don't normally deploy this. 12 nodes at 12 gigs of memory each is pretty significant strain on my lab, even though I barely run anything in it. I barely run anything in it so that I can I basically run like a mini cloud where I can dynamically provision whatever I need, and then I'll destroy it. I do have 2 static deployments, one at 7 and one at 8, just for reference. This way I don't have to build it every time. But in this specific testing, I need 2 data centers with replicated EC. So it's kind of fun to do it once in a while. Well, I could just tell you what the questions are, I guess. It's going to ask me for the internal interface name. It's going to ask me for replication, system metadata replication strategy for each of the data centers, and that's the one that's important. Make sure that you include enough copies in the second data center for the system metadata. Also, it's going to ask me for the endpoints. The 4 endpoints are going to be the S3 endpoint, the CMC endpoint, the IAM endpoint, and I forgot the other one. Yeah, we'll see. IAM, that's the other one. So here you can see actually like a real system has like, a real system is actually pretty beefy. So my rinky-dink lab, not that. So it's taking a good minute. So 72, 82, yeah, it's going through the nose. So far, so good. I don't expect it to fail. It's going to run slow. But once you answer the questions, then you can walk away, take like another, I'll stop the recording after that, but it'd be like another like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes or something. But you can start, you know, if you have better hardware, then obviously it goes faster. Let's see how my servers are doing. They're probably dying. Oh, the guy's not doing too bad. Oh, he's not doing too bad either. Okay. Not bad. Okay. Well, this might take a good minute. Love it. It's like watching paint dry. I guess if it doesn't start soon, or get to the question part soon, I'll just, I don't know what I'll do. I don't have any magic tricks or anything. I guess another thing I could say is like, you know, I can also build Veeam or Commvault or whatever else in the lab to integrate and test with Hyperstore also in any kind of weird configuration. You can also test DR scenarios where like you turn off one whole data center. It's pretty easy, you know, just turn off 5 boxes, simulate an outage. You can do things like restrict bandwidth by editing the virtual machine and just changing the pipe to something really small. There's a lot of useful things you can do. So, Let's see how we're doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh shoot! I should. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we're almost there. Just need 2 more, and then hopefully it'll ask me about the interface name. I could just show you that real quick if you want on the other box. So IPA. So here I have a primary interface 192 with address 70, and the backend interface name is ENS224 with address 101070. Notice I made the 70s match, and obviously it's the same for all the other nodes. Let's see, how many do we have here? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, almost there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pet my cat. Hey man, how you doing? Special shout out to my friend Phil Bendak, who encouraged me to write the wrapper that calls the Terraform to deploy it, just to make it easier. Truth be told, I didn't write it. I just had ChatGPT help me write it. The Terraform code itself, that I also kind of didn't write, but I kind of did. So what I did there was I found somebody who had what I was looking for. He had a Terraform template that could deploy one template VM. And then I had to basically learn how to duplicate it several times, and that's through the count function. And then I had to figure out how to edit the disks, so they could make whatever sizes I wanted that were not from the template. And what else did I have to do? It's been such a long time. But basically a lot of this stuff I just copied and replaced it with my user, or this one. I just copied and replaced it with all my stuff, which, if you stole my code, you could do the same thing. And then on here, originally it's just one template, so that's why it's like the code is a little ugly. I just basically copied and pasted it 3 times so that I could make the other templates. But it was kind of easy to, not kind of easy, it was doable to figure out how to make the right changes, like for count index and the var names. You just go and read the Terraform documentation online. Some of it was not super clear, like for the disk you have to specify unit number, so like if you have more than one disk, so the guy's original code I think only had 1 disk, and you don't need unit number, so I had to read the documentation, and that was in there. Notice that these are the same disks that I was configuring in the system setup. And yeah, that's pretty much, it's not too complicated, it's kind of ugly, the code, but whatever, my first time. Okay, so finally we're here, and we're going to choose this interface as the internal services interface. Oh, and in case you're curious, in production there would be a bond, right? So I could make a bond, but I can't make LACP in my virtual environment. So I guess I could have included that to be a little bit more thorough, but I didn't. I did include a backend interface just to remind, of a typical deployment. Actually, so here it says right here, Hyperstore nodes are advised to be configured to use multiple network interfaces. You can designate one of these interfaces, generally the interface for internal network traffic to run credentials, QoS, monitoring, Hyperstore, and Cassandra services apart from the front-end services. So this is where your clients or your end users are accessing Cloudian's stuff. So like S3, the admin API, IAM, or CMC services. Not specifying a internal interface here is not recommended for production environments and will result in internal services to be exposed on the default public interface. So you can install it on a single interface, but you should highly recommend firewalling all the internal services. It's in the admin guide if you're curious, like what's what. And yeah. So I guess I could stop the video here, but what happens next is you enter in the S3 endpoint, the admin API endpoint, IAM endpoint, and CMC. And it's going to ask for a data system metadata replication strategy for each data center. And the second one, do not choose the default. Choose, you have to edit it and select 3 copies. I guess if it doesn't come up in the next 2 minutes, then I'll stop the video. But that's a really important part. I guess in terms of completeness, I should probably wait, I guess. Let's see, what else could I say here? Is there anything else interesting in here? Probably not. Okay. Gonna be a bit. Alright, well, we'll call it here then, I guess. But yeah, it's just those 4 or 5 questions, and then your install is done. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out. I'm probably willing to spend some time with you. And thanks.